Technology gods. Hey, okay, so I'm going to talk about what's called Library and Academic Skills Essentials. These are some sessions that we're inviting all students to attend. Then we've got the workshops program with Liz and Tim. Jodie is now then going to talk about Minecraft and the Library and Academic Skills pathway. So good, she's on there twice. Louise is going to talk about Confidence Checker, and then anything digital is Angela at the end. So that's the session that we're going to be doing today. Due to run for an hour, but we're all going to do little bits, so it won't be lasting that long. Let's have a cup of tea a bit earlier. Okay, so essentials. This is an offer that we're going to give for all undergraduates over the 3 years that they're here at university. The reasoning behind it is called Essentials Workshops. There's some workshops designed for students and embedded in the context of the course that you're going to be doing. We're running these because not all students have access to the same provision. We'll often get lecturers who are very keen and say, can we book you in for this? We'd like you to run that, maybe an induction, maybe like an intermediate sort of section. But not all lecturers do that, not all students are given the opportunity. And we think things like academic skills are vital for students to achieve at university. So hopefully all students will have a quality of sessions and the chance for everybody to come along to do a workshop. And this is all based on the sort of the key curriculum points for students. So this is all to do with sort of the access and participation plan. And we can make a real contribution to the retention and success of our students, especially at present in the post-pandemic time. And this is a quote from that Tinto and Engstrom as well. Access without support is not opportunity. So we're offering support for all students. Okay. So the format of these workshops are 3 40-minute taught sessions, and they're arranged and tailored in liaison with the subject team. So each of the subject areas within the university has got its own librarian and skills tutors. They're at 3 levels, and each are suitable for levels 4, 5 and 6, first, second and third year. Okay, how to book. This is new and quite exciting. So it used to be, if you wanted to arrange a session, you'd have to, email maybe your subject librarian or find out who did what. They say, when do you want it? I'm not available. Yes, I am. When can you do? So you can now either book with your library contact, but we are hoping to make this booking easy, which we're currently doing using an online sort of choose your slot system. We're now testing this and the link will be made available to you soon, and the details are at the end of the section. So when I get to the end of the section, I will try and do a sort of live click onto it to show you what it looks like. And then you can say, okay, I'd like September the 27th, 3 p.m. Is this possible for this particular workshop, maybe workshop 1? Okay, workshops will be available to book soon for delivery from September onwards. So workshop 1 is kind of get started. So this will be aimed at first year students. The topics could include beginning research, introduction to academic writing, time management, including exams, referencing. We'll talk to you about booking personalised support and inclusive access as well. So all of those things that you'd expect from a subject librarian or skills tutor, we can offer all of those. They can be tailor-made, so specifically if you want us to introduce some subject stuff, we should be quite able to do that as well. Okay. Workshop 2 is called Advanced Skills. That should be delivered by the middle of year 2. I mean, I'm not saying these are all exclusive and you have to just book these ones. We can book all the way through, but it gives a chance for everyone to at least have one workshop. So the topics can include a bit more stuff about feedback when students get their assignments, how do they go from just looking at that percentage to actively improving their grades. Key subject resources, the important things you might need in terms of databases, improving academic writing, improving referencing, and finding digital help. And then the final one is called Workshop 3 Guru, not my words, delivered prior to students embarking on a major piece of work, usually in year 3. And this again is a bit more higher level, polishing your academic writing, improving your critical writing, research, resources for research, reference management, particularly reference management software, time management for bigger projects, and managing larger Word documents. So that's the kind of idea that things that we'll be covering within those 3 sessions. So this is the sort of team area. It's called sort of Studies Essentials for all undergraduates. We have got an email, which is academicskills@staffs.ac.uk. Obviously, I've not tried this, so I just thought, let's do a live demo. I'm going to try and just show you how this looks like, this live one, and hopefully it will open. This is not live yet. We've just been practicing on it. But this is a make an appointment. It's under the area teaching. At the moment, we've just got Julie Adams, who's my colleague, who runs a lot of the digital stuff in terms of things like managing longer documents. But you can select your date that if it's available. I think Julie's already got some sort of demo ones. So say you wanted something on the 16th of June. This is just a practice. Please don't and click on 11 o'clock, and then you'll be able to get yourself sorted. So hopefully it'll make the booking of a session easier for everybody. Okay, that will be rolling out very soon. Julie's currently on holiday. Okay, has anyone got any further questions on that little bit? Yes, or a few. Okay, go on then. We'll be doing all type, yeah. So we're doing face-to-face, we're doing team sessions, any of them are fine. And we all teach across all of the campuses and sites.
Maybe a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
Postgrad course.
Mhm.
No, this is for undergrad, so a lot of learners who start from professional background
Mhm.
and limited
Yeah.
skills set. Would you tailor sort of sessions?
Yeah, definitely. This is something that we've been thinking about in terms of our support for postgraduate students, whether it's taught or the other ways. It's in terms of, coming from a professional background, or if you're even things like apprenticeships, getting those skills that they're not really familiar with and haven't got the confidence in. So you'll be running those and be able to tailor sessions as well for those.
One last one.
Yeah, it's like the Colombo. One last question.
Really,
Oh, I love it. I love that. How far? When are we getting working till February next year?
I think we're November's.
Yeah. Well, hopefully maybe next week or the week after, we can start booking for September. People hopefully have already got in my head. It'd be great to get the library and get them all sorted, and then it will be on for book for months and months ahead. So the sooner the better, be great. And if it's not something you don't want that fits that tailoring, or you want to add further information, you can book the slot and put things in the notes field about, can we particularly focus on this, that, and that. Excellent. Okay, that is all for me. It's very short. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I teach level 3.
Yes.
So
Oh,
you just
yes.
mentioned level
Yeah,
4
yeah.
onwards. Will it be tailored?
Yeah. So we've done, so the foundation stuff we already do material for. Which subject area are you within?
Law.
Yeah, so it'd be like a foundation.
Yeah.
So particularly more of those skills, I think, as opposed to the resources, but with a little bit of emphasis on some of the law databases. So we'll be doing a bit more on that for your subject area, but then specifically the foundation skills.
And is there going to be somebody in place for law? Might be a gap. Oh, fabulous.
Yes, design. My name is Jodie Heath, and I am I'm going to say the
Wonderful,
interim
thank you.
librarian.
Yeah,
for you.
Jodie Heath,
That's great.
write it down.
I have done, yes.
There you go.
More questions on that little bit? Well, thank you very much. So I'm going to pass on to Liz and Tim now, who are going to talk about the open programme of workshops. Can you leave me a piece of paper? I'll leave it there. We'll take some pictures if you don't mind.
Thank you. Thank you. So as Eleanor said, my name is Liz White. I'm also academic librarian and skills tutor, and my colleague Tim Birch and I were going to be talking about the generic open programme of workshops that we've been working on. So this series of workshops kind of complement those that Eleanor's just been talking about. So rather than going into the classes to deliver these are going to be available for all students to book, whatever level, whatever subject, and there'll be a generic workshop to support whatever their needs are at the time. So these workshops will cover library skills and academic skills. There will be some at beginner level and others at advanced level. So again, whatever point that student's at, they can choose the workshop that suits their need at the time. And we'll show you some examples of those levels in a moment. So this programme of workshops will be delivered year round. So starting from September, we'll continue throughout the year. So if they miss a workshop, there'll be another one along soon, a bit like buses, I suppose. We'll also have additional coverage at key times, such as welcome. So we've got some additional ones at those points when the demand is much higher generally. But rather than them stop and then them having to wait until the next period, the programme will continue. And we'll also be delivering these in a range of time slots as well. So we're very aware that our students are not just studying, but working. You know, they might have lots of other things going on in their life. So during office hours may not always be perfect. So we've got some in the morning, some in the afternoon, some in the evening as well. And Tim is now going to have a go through some of the workshops for you.
Okay, we've got 2 strands for the workshops. We've got a beginner and we've got an advanced. So as you can see, the beginner one lasts 30 minutes. So you've got referencing basics, you've got academic writing, you've got all the things which a beginner needs help with. So when we say beginner, it's not exclusively for level 3 or level 4. Sometimes you will get a level 5 and level 6. Finding information for assignments is quite a popular one, which they would do. So we've got a bit of fluidity with the beginner and the advanced ones. So it's 30 minutes, but there's questions and answers built in on top of that 30 minutes. Okay, so that's the major difference between that and the advanced one. So the advanced one's 45 minutes. You're probably looking about an hour in total for that. So again, if there are any level 3 or level 4 feel that they something that interests them, they're more than welcome to come to those. Okay, so it's just a framework to give students a guide of where they think they should be. Okay.
So this one is just an example of the first 4 weeks, basically. And on the little screens we've got here, you probably can't read those very well. So those of you watching it have probably got a better view here. So this is, as I said, the first 4 weeks of the next academic semester. It's covering welcome weeks. So we've got 6 workshops within each week. But outside of welcome weeks, we'll be looking at 3 or 4 workshops. And you'll see, if you can read it, that academic writing, which is one of our most popular workshops, is repeated twice in the first week, then it's again in the second, and then repeated again in the 4th week, and then obviously will come up in the rotation later on. Other popular ones, such as finding information for assignments, as Tim said, that's repeated a couple of times. Referencing basics, those things that students go right at the start, I don't have a clue about this, I want to find out. We've got those running quite regularly at that point. Now, the first 2 weeks are purely the beginner workshops. And then in week 3, we start to introduce those advanced ones. So there's a bit more of a mixture of the levels, including the ones for level 6 about doing a literature review and doing your final year project. They start to come in because we're aware that those students at those points are starting to, you know, they're thinking, I've got this big thing to do this year. There's some support for them as well. So that's just a little example for you about what those first 4 weeks will look like.
You're probably not going to be able to see this, but this is an example of a lesson plan of what we've produced. Okay, so this is the numeracy session. So what we like to do is make sure students know what's within that session or what they're doing. So the numeracy session is using to put the numeracy in a context, okay? But on that lesson plan as well, it does say what that session does not do. Okay, so it's important that students get that message. So, for example, in this session in numeracy, it doesn't look at quadratic equations, geometry. It's specifically putting numeracy in the context in relation to what they need. Okay, so it's nothing abstract. This is a part of the beginner session. So as you can see, the sessions are bite-sized, so no more than 5 minutes. So basically, in this specific session, we're looking at students identifying what their barriers are towards numeracy, and then we will give them strategies of how to cope with that. Okay, so I'm going to put you guys under pressure now. So I've got a question, and I don't want any excuses you can't read it because I didn't read it out to you. Okay, so there's 25 sheep and 5 dogs in the flock. How old is a shepherd? Anybody going to shout out any kind of answer?
52.
the life universal thing, isn't it?
Okay, right. This is a question that I use quite often with students. Okay, so can't be worked out. All it is there's a few numbers. How old is a shepherd? We don't know. Okay, so actual student answers, which I have got this year from the students, are 7. I don't really know. I'm guessing. What's a shepherd? 5. I think I might be right because I like animals. Is times or add? I don't get it. And then just guess 33, 37. I thought my mum was 37, so he might be 37. So obviously, some of those might be taking the mick a bit, but that is covering up students' anxiety about dealing with maths or numeracy. Okay, so the point of that exercise is to make students aware. Just because you see a screen of numbers, don't go and shout numbers or answers. Take a step back, think of a strategy of what you would use for that. So this is an example of a strategy that we would use with students. Okay, on the right hand side, this is actually put in a nursing context. It's an actual past paper question for the nursing course. So what we want the students to do is use a strategy which makes it much easier for them to process the problem and get a right answer. So it's called cubes. So first point is circle any numbers within that problem. Then underline the main element of the question. Put a box around any keywords. Evaluate. Some students are visual learners, so they like to draw around the problem. Okay, maybe make a few sketches. And then that last one there is solve and check. So it's about giving students those raw skills and confidence to be able to tackle numeracy questions in the context.
Thank you. So similarly, this is an example lesson plan for the academic writing session. Again, you probably can't see that, but it also demonstrates, as Tim pointed out, that we're saying this is what it includes, but also this is what it doesn't. And in this case with academic writing, we're saying that it doesn't explain how to get started with your assignment or about how to reference or how to use Word. But of course, we've got other sessions that will answer those questions. So we'll be able to say, well, it's not covering this, but we've got this provision to sort that out for you as well. And similarly, I've got an example activity here. This would be on Poll Everywhere. I've only not done it on Poll Everywhere for you all to have a go on your phones now, just for time's sake. But the Poll Everywhere screen would show these statements about academic writing practice, and students could be asked anonymously to select or to put a tick on the ones that they think are actually good academic writing practice. And not only can they therefore demonstrate, show what their understanding is and kind of lead the session in that way, but it also helps us to understand the level that the group are working at. Again, because they'll have come across the university at a range of levels and from different background experiences, this will help us to kind of map out the rest of the session. And then we've got the answers, if you were wondering. The ones with the ticks, of course, are the good academic practice that we were looking for. And then one final example lesson plan here. This is the one finding information for your assignments. Again, what it's including and what it's not including, all the different activities would be including. This one would be mostly a demonstration of how to search using library search to find books and journal articles and how to use ebooks.
So next question, how do students access this program? So we've got a link which isn't live yet, but students, once they click that, will be able to click on this session which they feel that they need help with. The sessions and timetable is based around different times of day, so it's morning, afternoon, evenings. So if there's any students who are doing courses part-time or have got other commitments, it's worked around there. So it's open to all students, level 3, postgrads, masters, doctorates, so it's not exclusive to any type of student. Okay. Any questions from anybody?
Do we cater to or accommodate asynchronous learning at all by learning courses or anything?
At the minute,
Well, we have discussed, haven't we, that we're hoping we've got, obviously there's web pages with a lot of the
Yes.
information that we're including, so students can also use that. And I think that's part of the rest of the session that's going to be discussed. But we have talked about in the future creating sort of bite-sized videos on each topic. So if a student goes, well, I can't attend any of the workshops, there would actually be a video they could watch and play. So there'd be 3 levels. Ultimately, but I can't aim to have that ready for this next semester, unfortunately. If you could give us an extra 2 or 3 months, we could probably do that, but that's not going to happen. So perhaps for next year that will be in place.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
thank you.
So over to Jodie. Yes, thank you.
You
Thank
can
you, thank
select
you.
that minus to just hide that Teams thing.
Oh, yes. There we go. Hello, hello. So my name is Jodie Heath. I am, yes, another academic librarian and skills tutor. There's a few of us kicking around. And I'm going to be introducing you to the Minecraft project that me and Hannah have been working on together, which is a really exciting project for me. So first, to give you some background information on Minecraft, so in case anyone hasn't heard of it or used it before, it's a sandbox style game which involves users creating, crafting and communicating in a little world that you can create. The worlds can either be extremely large or reduced down to an individual room. And they can be as creative as you possibly can be in the game. It's an extremely interactive platform. The game is centered around blocks, so the way I kind of think of it is it's a bit similar to Lego in that you can craft and create using these blocks. The background to the project, I am particularly associated with the DTA and the technology half of things, and evidence has shown that they are some of the most reticent students to engage with the library and academic skills. So my concept was to identify a way which they might be more interested in engaging with the materials. Through this exploration, we've identified that it might also be particularly relevant and supportive for neurodivergent students, and either route that they go, they will have access to the high quality content that is available through the library. So we're hoping that just by providing a different access route, they can engage with the materials that we do already have. So the project elements are sort of broken into 3 areas. The library has a pre-existing digital library. We are a predominantly digital library in that we produce and provide content to most of our resources electronically. However, we want to build on that and we want to introduce a virtual library. So the Minecraft world is a location where students can learn about library, learn about academic skills and access all of the materials through an alternative front end. This also engages some elements of gamification, so bringing in enjoyment, in theory, in the students engaging with the materials and engaging with the world to find the information that they are searching for. So we've just got a little video here which will show you around the world, so I'll just give you a second to watch that. The entrance I themed Hogwarts style, so we've got candles and lanterns on the ceiling because I had to have a bit of Hogwarts in there, you know. And then we can talk to the NPCs and they can give us instructions or provide links out to the external website. And the location of this building is separated into sort of 3 areas. So on the left, we've got access to resources, so the students can learn about different source types, so books, journals, electronic formats, print formats, and engage with the NPCs that way. And there's also computer type NPCs where you can link directly through to things like the A to Z, the library search, and engage with the materials that way and have some more additional context provided for you in the process of accessing that material. So it's the same information, the same content, it's just a different navigable route, as it were. So you can see here, that's just taking you through to the same library website that you would get access to anyway. And the other side of the building is support, and we also have in this middle corridor the support resources. So a lot of students don't realise that not all of our resources are subject specific. So in this corridor we can indicate through the flowing process that there are support resources such as Skills for Study, LinkedIn Learning, the library guides that are intended to support but are actually a resource. And then on this side of the building, we've got access to the free teams within the library. So you've got your Student Connect front end, you've got academic skills where you can book your one-to-one support sessions, and you've also got resources support if you have a system that's gone down, and you can also engage with materials alternatively through that. And now at this stage, we're navigating up to the upstairs of the world, where we've created a pyramid of knowledge, which indicates to students the combination of general knowledge all the way up to systematic reviews. So you can see how that information flows up. And on the other side here, we've got the sources of information that correlate to that. So general knowledge and websites go together, systematic reviews and journal articles go together. So it's a bit easier to indicate to students how those things are correlated. And we have alternative links out to things like assessing sources of information, newspapers, etc., some referencing bits, etc. And we are currently in the process of creating an academic maze in the garden, but that's not on the film, so TBC on that. The implementation, we are looking to do a soft launch in the new academic year, particularly focusing it on the gaming DTA cohort, but it is available to anyone that might be interested. We are assuming that the students in the gaming areas are going to be more familiar with Minecraft, but that is not an exclusive situation. Other students might be into Minecraft and have the interest and capabilities to play it. It is licensed fully through the university through Minecraft for Education, so they can access it for free. It is a downloadable program, and support will be available through the library. I'll be creating a guide. And I'm hoping to do a little experiment on a particular module of gaming students to see if they are more confident in accessing the materials via the Minecraft library than the standard library website. So see if that proceeds, TBC. Okay, any questions on the Minecraft library? Yes.
How do we signpost students in the library in a virtual space?
So in terms of getting them to the Minecraft project,
When I am in the Minecraft environment, I have no clue where is what.
Yeah.
How do I just find things myself?
you just go around and navigate. You just got to explore. It's an exploratory area.
Okay.
And pretty much every NPC is linked through to the library website. So it will take you through to the relevant section, and then you can either further explore the library as you would normally, or you can come back into the game and continue to explore. So it is really an exploratory world. Yeah.
That's good to know. If you're aiming at gaming students, have we considered maybe getting them involved as co-creators just to make the space as they need? Or
Yeah, so initially I put a call out for volunteers, and I had very limited response. I'm hoping that with the soft launch I will capture more people's interests and get more volunteers, and we can then build the world more, because it's obviously I'm limited in my time capacity to devote just to this project. So yes, next year hopefully, well, next semester. Yeah.
And the last question, out of curiosity, how many hours went into creating that space?
So more than you think and less than you think. So fortunately the build itself was a template provided by Microsoft. So that's actually a museum building.
Okay.
So it's just the additional inside content. So I would say that my time was spent mainly in the uptake of learning how to use Minecraft. But once we got the hang of it, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, it's yeah, a few hours. Yeah. Good, excellent. Okay, so it's me again. It's the pathway. So building on the staff-led 3 sessions, sort of beginner, advanced and guru, and the rolling online session workshops, we also have a pathway that is being created specifically aimed at level 4 undergraduates, although it could be accessed by other people, but for capacity reasons, initially level 4. So the intention is to create a assignment pathway for students to navigate. So a lot of students don't know that they need support, or they haven't been able to identify those touch points where they might need a workshop, or they might want their teacher to book a session in person. So we're hoping to create a better navigation of pre-existing library content. So we have a lot of guides that already exist, but the students don't know that they need that guide. So we're hoping to create a pathway of 5 stages that will help them figure out where they are in their assignment, and that will indicate to them what work they might need to do, or what workshops they might want to book on. So it's basically a digital pathway which incorporates elements students traditionally need support with. It's a guide to assist students in finding and identifying their own support needs prior to communicating with the team. So whereas the other 2 are fairly active, this is a bit of more of a passive program. So currently the pathway is in its beta stages, and we have 6 key paths. The first one, Get Ready, is intended for pre-entry to the university, and we are looking at ways to make that accessible if students have or do not have their ID card yet. So we're working on that. And then the other 5 are the key stages. So we've got Get Searching, Get Writing, Get Started, Get Organised, Get Reviewing. And hopefully those are clear enough to the students that they can at least launch into the pathway and figure out the steps that they need. So for example, in the Get Searching section, we've got the categories on the left-hand side, which will indicate to them the stage that they might be at and the support that they might need. And again, this will loop back into the workshops and the online sessions that we've got. So the plan is to link each path to the content that we already have available, to identify any gaps that occur through the creation process. We want to update the format of the current content so that it has an increased variety of interaction, so more videos, more sways, etc., but whilst adhering to accessibility standards. And we would really like some feedback from staff and students, so I might be hunting you all down once it goes live. So yeah, any questions on the pathway?
How set are you being
Management, like the name.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, when you said pathway just now, I thought of what we call a pathway, which is a specific way of within our program that the students can specialize.
Yeah.
So I immediately thought, oh, so you're going to have your own part of a degree with assessment and stuff, and that's not what it is.
No.
I think this could be hugely confusing, not just for members of staff, but also for students who might be on courses that have pathways.
Yes.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
would kind of.
Yes.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Excellent.
I love the idea.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
You
you.
know, so maybe signposting or. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but
There's lots of
pathway-
words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's really valuable feedback. No.
Now you can say associate professor blah, blah, blah said.
Yeah. 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 So.
But otherwise, I think it's a great idea.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, so we've got the staff led, we've got the student active, and we've got student passive. So hopefully we've covered all bases next academic year, and and students all do wonderfully. So I will pass over to Louise for the confidence checker.
Hi, so my name is Louise Yarwood. I'm the Library and Skills Advisor in Library and Academic Skills team. And I'm going to tell you a bit more about what we're calling the confidence checker that's currently being developed and hopefully should be ready. Well, it should be ready, will be ready, I should say, for September. So background, last summer, teaching staff from nursing met with some of the members of staff from Academic Skills team And we were discussing ways in which we could support students in ethnic minority groups to help to address the attainment gap. And one of the ideas that came out of that meeting was to provide a questionnaire that would record students' confidence levels in key academic skills. And so the academic skills assessment was created, and it was initially sent out to students during Welcome 2021. And then results were collated and provided to selected members of staff only within the school. And this was because they did actually include individual student details. So from those results, the staff within the school could tell if there were any particular areas where students needed some more support, and they could bring in people from the academic skills team to provide some additional workshops. But they could also identify any individual students who looked as if they might be struggling at that time, and maybe sort of direct them to more sort of one-on-one support that was available for them. So the confidence checker, it's based on the original academic skills assessment, and it's created using LibWizard. And LibWizard is part of SpringShare's library applications platform, which is called LibApps. And it's something that's available for academic libraries. And what we can do with that is we can create, share and analyse forms, surveys, quizzes and tutorials and assessments. However, with the confidence checker, the focus of this is slightly different. So what we're looking to do is actually make it available to any first year student in any subject area. And skills included have actually been extended. So rather than just key academic skills, they're actually extended to cover sort of digital skills. So it's going to be things like how to save and organise documents properly, and also library skills. So that could be things like using library search to find resources, and also finding and using the library subject guides. So as I said, the confidence check, it's been created as a personal skills audit, and it's in the form of an interactive tutorial. So LibWizard tutorials allow you to guide users through selected content, such as a library guide, a website or a video, and also provide information relating to that content. They can also include graded questions. I'm not quite sure if you can see on there, but in this case, we've actually formatted the question to actually assess confidence levels. So the tutorial itself is going to be available 24/7, and there's various ways we can make that available. So we can obviously provide a URL, or we could provide a QR code, and obviously these can be put out on the library blog or on posters or on sort of social media. So that would be a standalone version. If we created an embedded version, that would actually open and display on top of an existing web page. So each tutorial's got its own embed code, and what that means is we can add it to any existing web page. So we could put it onto the library guides, and students would actually launch the tutorial by just clicking on the button that appears on the side of the screen. Okay, so the responses and the information that we actually provide depends on the option that's selected by the student. So for answer 1, if they're answering that they're very confident, you see in this example, they're actually being directed to our learning styles guide. And as well as having the guide, the interactive content on the right-hand side of the screen, we can also put an active link into the response, so they can actually go directly to that particular web page. Are answering that they're quite confident, again, they're being directed to the library, the learning styles guide, but they've also got an additional resource. And what we're using for this example is we're actually directing them to something that's called Skills for Study, which all new students should find really useful. And we're also highlighting the relevant modules within that package. And then finally, the students that are answering that they're not very confident at all, they get both of those forms of information, but this time we're actually going a step further, and we're actually providing a link to our online appointments booking system. So what I say with the words, what we want to do is actually make this something that students can use to become more independent learners. So we don't want to immediately direct them to the library appointments page. We want them to use the resources first, and then if at that point they still feel that they need some support, then we're giving them the link to the library appointments page. Okay, so the confidence checker, at every point, it is completely confidential. So when it's actually submitted, the answers do actually go through anonymously. At no point in this do we actually expect students to put any personal information in, because it's purely for their own use. And obviously what we also want to do is we want them to answer honestly. So we don't want them to put the answer in that they think they should put in because they think somebody's going to go in and check them afterwards. But as you can see, we do actually get to see the answer. So all of the answers are actually stored within LibWizard, but they're only accessible by specific library staff. So it's not everybody can see the answers. So when we actually had the original the original academic skills assessment, that does actually contain student details, but everything is securely stored within LibApps itself. And then finally, what we can do with the results is we can actually have a look to see of which areas are the ones where most people are answering that they're not very confident. So what we can do there is obviously we can monitor the trends in the answers and highlight any additional training needs. So that could be putting additional workshops into our open programme. It could also be having targeted drop-in sessions available for students, or increasing the promotion of specific resources that we think might be useful in those areas. And finally, if anybody wants more information, please get in touch, or if anybody is actually interested in having a specific questionnaire created for their subject area, then please get in touch. The obligatory, any questions? So I go on to you. I shall hand over to Angela.
Hello, I'm Angela Evans from the library, and I'm just going to run through 4 facets of our digital offer very quickly. We haven't got much time. So the first one is Studysmarter with technology. So this is our guide to assistive technology to make studies more accessible for learners. And it was inspired because we realised that although a lot of our students have got learning needs, there's quite a lot that don't qualify for DSA support, tutors, software. So this is like an ideal guide that brings all that stuff together for them. And also there's a gap between them completing the assessments and then actually getting the help they need as well. So it's good for that. And I know a lot of staff like to use it as well. So just a screenshot. I mean, it's a very big guide, but just there we've got some read aloud things they can use. All this is free to our students via the university software downloads, or free on the web, or free phone apps. So there's a few different options there. And the other one I've got is the voice to text as well. We've got lots available in Office, or free phone apps again. So it's a great collection, this Studysmarter guide. I know a lot of staff really love it already. It's embedded in Blackboard and modules. It's really popular, and we just want to get it out there to everybody. So that's our first one. And our second guide, again, it's a collection of tutorials, videos, things to help with people improving their digital capabilities. And it's aimed at staff and students alike. And it really runs from everybody who's like a relative newbie to people who think they're a digital expert, really. So a lot of our students come to us and say, you know, we just don't know this IT stuff, don't expect us to. So it starts right from saving files on OneDrive is difficult for some students when they start. Using Turnitin, using Blackboard, the basics of Microsoft Office. And it goes on to look at Sway, Teams, it goes on to Qualtrics survey software, and then some really quite complicated software for particular subject areas as well. So it's all collected there in one place for staff and students to enhance their digital capabilities. I'm doing quite well on the time, aren't I? Right. And LinkedIn Learning, which is just a fantastic resource. It's an extensive collection of training videos, and it's fantastic for skills development and professional development as well. So there's a lot of videos on business and employability aspects. There's a lot on IT, and I mean actually computer coding to more simple Microsoft Office basics. There's stuff on basic courses in Excel that go right to really complicated ones. You know, so there's a lot on that. There's some basic skills like presentations, team building, building confidence. And there's also a lot on things like project management and management. And a really good thing about it as well is you can link it, if you wish, to your LinkedIn profile. So you can show potential employers the kind of courses you've been undertaking. So if you're looking for jobs in management, maybe you haven't got that much experience, you can at least show that you've been doing these courses. And these courses are run by experts in the field. You know, they're really high quality. I've just did a search for project management, so you can easily search and find what you need. And it comes up with a variety of courses. They could be 10 times 1 hour courses, or you can just click on the courses and it will give you all the little modules, sessions, and you can just dip in to one that appeals to you, like one aspect of it. So there's lots of options on LinkedIn Learning. And finally, this was mentioned by Louise, links in with the confidence checker. We're really proud to have now subscribed to Skills for Study. It's produced by Stella Cottrell, who's a massive name in academic study skills. And it's an online study skills tool that students can actually do a diagnostic test on various aspects of their study skills, and it can prescribe then courses for them to address any problems in their skills, or they can just dip into small bits of it, a bit like LinkedIn. We're trying to see about embedded it in Blackboard at the moment, but there you can see some of the modules available. So for example, the one on writing skills, it starts off with planning your writing, and it's got a bit about writing concisely and coherently. So again, they can work through modules, or they can just have a look and dip in. And it's actually really engaging stuff. It's, you know, there's guides, there's activities and videos. So it's an excellent resource, and we'd love to see it used more widely in the university. So that's it from my little bit, my snippet of Library Digital. Does anybody want to ask anything?